Hello, sports fans. It is Monday, December the 1st, the year 2014. And as always, a lot to get to in the sports world, so let's get it going right now. Great to be back with you guys. Hope you guys had a happy and healthy Thanksgiving Day weekend. It's great to be back with you. Hope you caught some of the games over the weekend. Let's recap what went on in the sports world the last few days. Let's start with the NFL Week 13. Let's recap it. Let's start with the Thanksgiving Day games, where the Detroit Lions at home beat the Chicago Bears 34-17. The Lions up to 8-4, Bears down to 5-7. This was a very important game for Detroit. They had to have it. Chicago got off to a fast start in this game, but Chicago's defense is awful. Detroit moved the ball up and down the field. Chicago had no answers. Detroit did whatever they wanted on offense. Defense tightened up in the second half, and Detroit got a much-needed win. Very important win for Detroit. It's been a bad year for Chicago. I thought they would be better than this on both sides of the ball. It's just been a year to forget for the Bears. Important win for Detroit. Let's go to Dallas, the Big D, where the Philadelphia Eagles just lay it on the Dallas Cowboys 33-10. Eagles up to 9-3. Dallas down to 8-4. Eagles take a one-game lead in the division. Very impressed with Philadelphia here. I told you, with Sanchez, you can win short-term. Foles looks like he will be back at the end of the year. Great job by Philadelphia. Their offense did a lot of good things in this game. Not a good loss by Dallas. Let's keep an eye on Dallas from here to the end of the season. They got off to such a great start. Haven't been playing as good recently. We'll keep an eye on their defense. Their defense, which was so good at the beginning of the year, hasn't been all that great lately. Keep an eye on the running game. The back had a tremendous year. We'll see if he's wearing down. Keep an eye on that Romo back situation. Cowboys are still in solid shape. Didn't like the way they played in this game, though. No disgrace losing to Philadelphia, but I didn't like the way they did it. 33-10 at home. Not a good way to lose for Dallas. Very nice job by the Philadelphia Eagles. They look like a solid playoff team, and they will get Foles back at the end of the year. Let's go out to San Francisco, where the Seattle Seahawks just stomp on the San Francisco 49ers. 19-3. Seattle up to 8-4. San Francisco down to 7-5. This was all about the Seattle defense. Seattle defense dominated this game. San Francisco can't move the ball from here to there. Very, very nice job by Seattle. They're starting to catch up to Arizona. Wouldn't be shocked if they pass Arizona by the time the end of the season gets here. Seattle's defense, very, very solid. They're not as explosive on offense this year, Seattle. Their receivers aren't as good, but their defense still is very, very solid. As far as the Niners, oh my goodness, I don't know what to say about the Niners. Their defense is good. Their offense is atrocious. And they have some playmakers on offense. They have Crabtree, they have Bolden, they have the tight end, they have Gore, but their offensive line is just a mess, and teams have figured out now how to play Kaepernick. Kaepernick is not the same this year. He was running for big yardage last year. He doesn't do that this year. San Francisco can't score any points. 3 points at home? I mean, you're not going to win very many games scoring 3 points. I mean, you're just not. San Francisco, a very disappointing 7-5, and now you're hearing rumblings that Harbaugh might be on his way out, that the Niners are looking to trade him. I hear Oakland is interested. I hear the Jets are interested. I like Harbaugh as a coach, but maybe it's time for a change. I would love to have Harbaugh as my coach. I like him. Maybe it's time for a change, though. The Niners just not doing it this year, not firing on all cylinders. They're still only a game out of a playoff spot, but with this offense, what can they do? They can't score. Can't move the ball. Nice, solid defensive job by the Seahawks in this game. Let's go to Indianapolis. These are the Sunday games from yesterday now, where the Indianapolis Colts blow out the Washington Redskins 49-27. Colts up to 8-4. Washington down to 3-9. Colts did whatever they wanted on offense in this game. Colts are, definitely going to win that division. Definite playoff team. I like to see the Colts tighten up on defense. We know they can move the ball. We know their offense is solid. I'd like to see the Colts play a little better on defense. And what is going on with Washington? What a terrible effort from them on the defensive side yesterday. I mean, how many times were Colt receivers running free in that secondary? Every time I turned around, Luck was dropping back and hitting a bomb down the field. Hey, Washington, if they do that to you like 3-4 times, maybe you should drop some people back into coverage, play maybe a Tampa 2 or a defensive shell or something. Every time I looked up, Luck was throwing over the top and hitting a big touchdown. So terrible job by the Washington defense. And how about this Washington quarterback situation? Now, Griffin looks like he's going to be moved, believe it or not. Cousins has hit the bench. He had one good game. He's been terrible since. And McCoy, who we all forgot about, he looks like he may be the best of the three. I mean, McCoy actually played a decent game yesterday, threw for almost 400 yards. Maybe McCoy will be the Washington starter. Did we ever think that was going to happen? We thought Washington had two good, solid quarterbacks with Griffin and Cousins. Griffin may be out the door, Cousins has hit the bench, and McCoy may be the starter. Oh my goodness, all sorts of problems for Washington. Indianapolis gets the win. Let's go to Houston, where the Houston Texans just laid on the Tennessee Titans 45-21. Houston up to 6-6. Tennessee down to a deplorable 2-10. Fitzpatrick to Hopkins was the story of this game. Hopkins had like over 200 yards receiving. Fitzpatrick, what did he throw for, like 6 touchdown passes? Are you kidding me? I mean, really, really nice job by Houston. Watt, of course, was amazing. He's recovering fumbles. He's scoring touchdowns. He does it all. Nice job by Houston. Tennessee is an atrocious team. Mettenberger gets knocked out of the game. They bring Locker in. He's fumbling and throwing interceptions all over the place. We know Whitehurst isn't the answer. So Tennessee has got 3 quarterbacks. I don't think any of them are any good. Tennessee, another 4 turnovers yesterday. What a terrible year for the Titans. Houston gets the win there. Let's go up to Buffalo, where the Bills returned home, and they beat the Cleveland Browns 26-10. Buffalo up to 7-5. Cleveland down to 7-5. Buffalo defense dominated this game. Recovered a fumble, ran it back for a touchdown. Orton, I thought, played well at quarterback. Hoyer did not play well again for Cleveland. Manziel came in. Maybe Manziel takes Cleveland the rest of the way. Hoyer, who played very well at the beginning of the season, has tailed off. You know they're dying to get Manziel in there. He came in there yesterday, got him in the end zone on his first drive. Maybe Manziel takes over at the quarterback position for Cleveland. Hoyer has really tailed off. Nice win by Buffalo. Buffalo's defense is solid. Let's go to Baltimore. This was one of the games of the day where the San Diego Chargers rally and beat the Baltimore Ravens 34-33. San Diego up to 8-4. Baltimore down to 7-5. San Diego's down 10 points late in this game. Rivers leads them on the game-winning drive. Tremendous win by San Diego. I thought Baltimore had this game in the bag. They very rarely lose at home. Nice win by San Diego. And all of a sudden, San Diego, which couldn't win a game a month ago, now has won 3 straight, and they're leading the wild card. That is the NFL. The NFL is a week-to-week league. You don't know what's going on from week to week. A month ago, San Diego couldn't beat anyone. Now they've won 3 in a row. They get the big win in Baltimore, and they now lead the wild card standing. So tremendous win by San Diego. Real tough loss for Baltimore. Let's go to Jacksonville, where the Jacksonville Jaguars rally and beat the New York Giants 25-24. Jacksonville up to 2-10. Giants down to 3-9. I mean, can it get any worse for the New York Football Giants? The Giants are up 21-0 in this game against a terrible Jacksonville team, and the Giants let this game slip away. Jacksonville runs back 2 fumbles for a touchdown. The Giants blow a 21-0 lead. I think they said that was the largest comeback in Jacksonville history. Give Jacksonville credit for hanging in the game and getting the W. The Giants are just an atrocious mess. I mean, I don't know how Coughlin lasts after this. I mean, maybe it's time to go in a new direction for the Giants. I mean, I know Coughlin has done some great things there. Maybe it's time to go in a new direction. This was a deplorable loss for the Giants. Let's go down to Tampa Bay, where the Cincinnati Bengals hang on and beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 14-13. Cincinnati up to 8-3-1. They're in great shape in their division. Tampa Bay down to 2-10. Cincinnati did not play well in this game and were very lucky to win. Tampa Bay, as time is running out, is in field goal range. It's about a 49-yard field goal. They take a holding penalty. That puts them out of field goal range. Then Tampa Bay hits a pass, down to like the Cincinnati, I think it was like the Cincinnati 20, but there's too many men on the field. That's when Marvin Lewis threw the challenge flag and the timeout, and they replayed the whole thing. Tampa Bay had too many men on the field, puts them back, another few yards. Then Tampa Bay throws a pass over the middle, and the time runs out. They don't even get a chance to do anything. So what an atrocious way to end the game for Tampa Bay. They were in field goal range a couple of times, took 2 terrible penalties. Cincinnati, very lucky to win. They won all 3 road games the last 3 weeks, so give them credit for that. I didn't think they played well at all yesterday. I didn't think Dalton played well yesterday. Thought it was a classic case What do I always say? Of a good team finding a way to win and a bad team finding a way to lose. Let's go to St. Louis. Here was a great game where the St. Louis Rams beat the Oakland Raiders 52-0. Let me say it again. The Rams beat the Raiders 52-0. Rams up to 5-7. Raiders down to 1-11. This was the same Raider team that last week beat the Chiefs. Same Raider team that beat the Chiefs last week. I mean, you talk about laying a complete egg. Apparently the Raiders just, they didn't even get on the plane. They were back in Oakland having their Thanksgiving dinner for 4 days. What in the world were the Raiders doing here? Did I expect them to win in St. Louis? No. Did I expect them to cover the spread? No. Can you be a little more competitive? Can you score at least 3 points? I mean, they made the St. Louis Rams out to be the 70s Steelers. I mean, what kind of performance was this by Oakland? Terrible job by them. You got to be more competitive. This is professional football. Atrocious performance by Oakland. Give St. Louis credit. They got the win. They did it convincingly. Let's go to Pittsburgh. Let's go to Pittsburgh, where the New Orleans Saints beat the Pittsburgh Steelers 35-32. Saints up to 5-7. Steelers down to 7-5. Drew Brees, 5 touchdown passes. Great win by New Orleans. Remember, they had dropped 3 straight at home. Great win by New Orleans. They're now fighting with Atlanta for the division lead. Nice job by New Orleans. Nice, impressive road victory. What planet are the Steelers on? The Steelers had a chance to get to 8-4, be in solid playoff contention, be right there for the division. They're coming off a bye. They got a lot of people healthy. They score 1 million points at home, and they laid a dud in this game. And don't let the final score fool you. The Steelers, it was 35-16 late in the game. The Steelers put up 16 points for cosmetic purposes. They actually scored a touchdown with no time left and went for 2 with no time left and got it to make the score a little closer. This game was not close. It was 35-16 late in the game. This was a New Orleans team that could not stop anyone. And the Steelers couldn't get the ball in the end zone. Kept settling for field goals. Roethlisberger, a couple of bad interceptions. And what was with the Steeler defense yesterday? What was with their secondary? Welcome back Ike Taylor. Ike Taylor, who missed all that time, came back and he got burned time and time again. What is with the Steelers secondary? Can the Steelers please get a cornerback that can cover someone? In last year's draft, they said they were going to draft 2 cornerbacks. They never drafted any corners. And now they still have the same bad corners. I mean, I don't know what is going on with the Steelers secondary. It is atrocious. Anytime a team goes to hurry up and starts passing the ball, the Steelers have no answers. Terrible job by LeBeau and the defense. Terrible job by Ike Taylor. The Steelers secondary is atrocious, just an atrocious mess. And I know the Saints can put up points, but come on, the Saints just lost 3 straight home games, and they just torched Pittsburgh yesterday. It's just an atrocious loss for Pittsburgh. This puts Pittsburgh right now out of the playoffs as of right now. Awful, deplorable loss by the Steelers. Nice win by the Saints. Let's go up to Minnesota, where the Minnesota Vikings beat the Carolina Panthers 31-13. Vikings up to 5-7. Carolina down to 3-8-1. The Vikings have some nice young talent. We'll see how they develop as, in the next couple of seasons. As far as Carolina, what in the world is going on with them? 3-8-1, and they have fallen completely apart. I mean, I can't remember the last time Carolina won a game. What is it, like 2 months ago? The bloom is off the rose for Cam Newton. The Carolina defense, which was good last year, is atrocious. They are a mess. Carolina looks like one of the worst teams in football. Awful performance by them. Minnesota gets the win. Let's go down to Atlanta, where the Atlanta Falcons beat the Arizona Cardinals 29-18. Atlanta up to 5-7. Arizona down to 9-3. Solid job by Atlanta yesterday. Julio Jones had a big day receiving the ball. He outplayed Peterson. That was a big matchup coming in. Jones definitely outplayed Peterson yesterday. Atlanta is starting to play a little better. They're right there with New Orleans for the division lead. Nice, solid home win for Atlanta. Let's keep an eye on Arizona now. They're starting to fade. Remember, Palmer's out for the year. Stanton is not playing well. Remember, Fitzgerald is out. They're taking a lot of injuries, Arizona, and they're putting way too much pressure on their defense. The defense is solid, but the offense is doing nothing. They can't move the ball from here to there. In today's NFL, you cannot put that much pressure on your defense. Seattle could catch Arizona. Danger, danger, danger time for Arizona right now. Nice win by Atlanta. Let's go to Green Bay, the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field, where the Green Bay Packers beat the New England Patriots 26-21 in one of the games of the day. Green Bay up to 9-3, New England down to 9-3. I'll tell you, New England was down in Green Bay territory, and they had a big third down. Brady took a sack, and that made it 4th and 18 with less than 3 minutes to go. I was saying New England should still go for it. Now, I know it's 4th and 18, but with the way things are called in the NFL, maybe you get a penalty on the defense. What did New England do? They tried a long 47-yard field goal, missed it, so they're still down 5, and then Green Bay got a first down and ran the clock out, so New England never got the ball back. To me, I would have tried for the first down there. There's too many things that need to happen if you don't do it. You need to hit the 47-yard field goal. Then you need to get the ball back. New England had not stopped Green Bay all day. Then you have to drive down the field again. So to me, I would have went for it. I know it's 4th and 18. I know it's not a no-brainer decision. But the way things are called in the NFL, maybe you get a penalty. Maybe you can get a big play. I would have not have tried the field goal there. So tough loss for New England. They're now 9-3. They're tied with Denver for best record in the AFC. We'll get to Denver in a second. Green Bay looking like a real Super Bowl contender. Let's go to Kansas City, where the Denver Broncos, like I just said, beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Denver up to 9-3. Kansas City down to 7-5. This was another one of those games where Denver is playing downhill. They get off to an early lead. They get that offense cooking, and Kansas City can't match them. Kansas City has a good defense, good running game. They don't have an explosive offense. The Kansas City receivers are not explosive like that. So Kansas City can't get into a firefight with Denver like that. And once Denver gets the big lead, it's all downhill sledding for them. So Denver gets the win 29-16. The Chief defense did try and hang in there, held Denver to a lot of field goals, but the Chief offense did not do their part. Denver gets the big road win. Denver and New England fighting for that top spot in the AFC. That could decide it all. Right now, New England has it because of the tiebreaker. They beat Denver and New England. Whoever gets home field in the AFC could make it to the Super Bowl between Denver and New England. Very important these last 4 games to see who can get that home field. And to me, it looks like in the AFC, it's going to come down to New England and Denver and who gets that home field. Kansas City, despite the loss, still hanging on to that last playoff spot. And tonight, you have the Miami Dolphins at the New York Jets. Miami has to have this game. Can't afford to lose to a bad Jet team. Miami has to have the game tonight. So that was with, your NFL from yesterday. As far as the college football, let's go through it real quick. Alabama at home rallied and beat Auburn 55-44. I mean, there was no defense being played in this game. Auburn's defense is atrocious. Auburn just fired their defensive coordinator. So Alabama rallies. They get the win. They will be number 1. They will play Missouri in the SEC title game. Oregon just shellacked Oregon State in Corvallis 47-19. Oregon will play Arizona in a Pac-12 title game in Santa Clara. Remember, Oregon's lost to Arizona the last 2 years, including this year in Eugene. Right now, Oregon is in the Final Four playoff. Florida State at home does it again. They hang on. They beat Florida 24-19, a game they could have easily lost, but they find new and creative ways to win each and every week. Florida State will play Georgia Tech in the ACC title game. Alabama, Oregon, and Florida State, they win. They're in the Final Four playoff. As far as the 4th spot, Mississippi State is now out. Ole Miss trounced them in the Grove 31-17. Nice win by Ole Miss. What in the world was Mississippi State doing in this game? This was an Ole Miss team that lost their best receiver and fell flat on their face the last few weeks, and they just blew out Mississippi State. Very disappointing performance by Mississippi State. I thought they'd play better in this game. They are now out of the playoff picture. Ohio State at home beats Michigan 42-28, but they lose their second quarterback of the year. They're going to have to play their 3rd-string quarterback against Wisconsin in the Big Ten title game. And by the way, that Ohio State missing player was found dead in a dumpster from an apparent suicide. terrible, terrible story. My heart goes out to the Ohio State family and that player's family as well. That is a terrible, terrible story. So that is just an awful story. Ohio State's going to have to deal with that this week, and they have to play with their third-string quarterback against a good Wisconsin team. If Ohio State somehow manages to beat Wisconsin, they will be the fourth team in the Final Four playoff, I think. If they don't, it could be Baylor. Baylor hung on it in Dallas, I should say, and beat Texas Tech 48-46. Texas Tech misses the 2-pointer to tie at the end of the game. Now, Petty had a concussion in this game for Baylor. Will he play this week? Remember, the Big 12 doesn't have a title game, but Baylor has a huge game at home against Kansas State this week, which will decide the Big 12 title. If Baylor wins and Ohio State loses, I think Baylor will go to the Final Four playoff. Remember, they have the tiebreaker against TCU. They'll finish in a tie with TCU, but they beat TCU. So I think Ohio State, if they win, they're in. I think Baylor needs Ohio State to lose or somebody else to lose, and TCU probably needs a couple of teams to lose. TCU trounced Texas in Austin 48-10 on Thanksgiving Day. I thought that game would be a lot closer. Nice win by TCU. How about the Western Kentucky Marshall game over the weekend at Marshall? Western Kentucky wins 67-66 in overtime. They go for 2 in overtime, and they get it, and they knock Marshall out of their undefeated season. Nice win by Western Kentucky. Gutsy call. I thought a couple of teams that really laid an egg over the weekend. Stanford blew out UCLA in the Rose Bowl 31-10. UCLA was on fire. They had an outside chance to get to the Final Four playoff. They were going to get to the Pac-12 title game, and they just laid an egg at home. Stanford dominated that game. I was shocked about that score. And Georgia Tech beat Georgia in Athens 30-24 in overtime. Georgia has the terrible interception, down near the goal line trying to win the game. So terrible loss by Georgia. And how about USC stomping all over Notre Dame? I mean, just blew them out. USC had gotten blown out last week by UCLA. Notre Dame's season completely fell apart when they lost that heartbreaking game to Florida State. So that is kind of where you are in your college football. Remember, you have your college football championships this week, and then we'll know who's in the Final Four. New Final Four rankings come out tomorrow night. I did watch some boxing over the weekend. From Omaha, Nebraska, I watched Crawford beat Beltran in an easy win for him. Great crowd at Omaha. That's Crawford's hometown. They really support the hometown fighters there. Great job by Omaha coming out to support the fighter Crawford. Crawford looks like a solid fighter. On the undercard, by the way, Gradvadovic and Veliz fought to a draw. I thought Gradvadovic got robbed. I thought he won that fight. Another bad decision in boxing. My wish list for boxing in the year 2015. I have 2 things on my wish list. Can we get Pacquiao Mayweather, please? And can we get Ward and Golovkin at a catchweight? Am I asking for too much? We need a big fight in boxing. I mean, boxing is it's just been dead for so long. We need a mega fight here. We need something going on in boxing. Give me Pacquiao Mayweather. Give me Ward Golovkin. Those are 2 great fights. Let's make them happen already. So I did catch some boxing over the weekend. Real quick in the NBA, as far as some teams in the NBA that are impressing me right now, Toronto is 13-4. They're doing a nice job. They have 1 key injury now. They did lose to the Lakers last night. I was surprised about that, but overall, Toronto's doing a nice job. Washington looks pretty good. Chicago, if they can stay healthy, looks pretty good. Atlanta, as always, is mediocre. I feel like they've been mediocre for 10 years. Milwaukee at 10-8 is doing a better job than I thought. I thought they'd be a lot worse than that. Cleveland's starting to get it together. It's going to take time for Cleveland. They will get there. Miami looks okay, but they're not a championship contender. Knicks are a dreadful team, 4-14. Phil Jackson and Derek Fisher, how long are they going to watch this mess? Philadelphia 76ers, are they going to ever win a game? 0-16 now. As far as the West, Memphis Grizzlies doing a nice job at 14-2. I've told you about Memphis, though, for years. They have a good collection of players, but no superstar that could haunt them in the playoffs. It's a superstar league. Golden State rolling along, 14-2. Really nice team. Houston, 13-4, doing a nice job. Got to get Howard healthy. Portland, 12-4, doing a nice job as well. They're a solid team. San Antonio, is going to be there. Dallas is always good. You expect the Clippers to be good. Phoenix, okay this year. Sacramento looks a little improved. Oklahoma City's got to get Durant and Westbrook healthy. And the Lakers did beat Toronto last night, but still 4-13. I mean, not a good year for the Lakers at all. Could be a really long year for Kobe Bryant and company. Oh, one other team I should mention in the East, the Hornets, who had such a nice year last year. They are really, really struggling. So the Hornets, who were so good last year, not good at all this year. So that's kind of where you are in your NBA. As far as your NHL, real quick, as far as the East, Pittsburgh looks like a solid, cup contender. Tampa Bay's good. The Islanders are a very big surprise this year. Islanders are on fire. It's funny, the Islanders, this is their last year playing at the Nassau Coliseum. They're moving into the Brooklyn Arena next year. The Islander fans have waited 20 years for a decent team. They finally get them as they're on their way out the door to Brooklyn, but the Islanders are doing a nice job. Montreal good. Detroit's always good. Boston always good. Toronto and the Rangers look pretty good. Washington and Philly not as good as I thought they'd be. They're kind of struggling. As far as the West, Nashville doing a nice job. St. Louis is good. Vancouver with Miller is solid. Anaheim doing a good job. Calgary looks improved. Chicago's always good. LA's always good. Winnipeg and Minnesota, they'll probably be fighting for that 7-8 spot. Colorado a little down this year. They had a really nice season under Patrick Waugh last year as the coach. A little down this year. They've lost a couple key players to free agency. Keep an eye on Colorado and Patrick Waugh. I think he's a good coach. Let's see if he can turn it around. They had a monster year last year. Little down this year. So that's kind of where you are as far as your NHL. As far as college basketball, there's been college basketball on every second of the day. I mean, since it started. I mean, anytime you turn on ESPN or ESPNU, there's a college basketball game on from Hawaii, from Alaska, from, California, from, the Bahamas, Mexico, wherever. There's a game or a tournament going on. Kentucky looks off the charts good. They look so good. They look like one of the best teams in college basketball history. I know it's early. I know the tournament, you can lose one game. I mean, we've seen it happen with UNLV that year when they lost to Duke when they were undefeated. This Kentucky team is scary good. They, when all is said and done, could be one of the best teams in college basketball history. I know it's early. I know that's quite a statement, but check out Kentucky. They're not just good. They're scary good. Wisconsin and Duke play this week in that ACC Big Ten Challenge. Make sure you watch that. Arizona's real good. So is North Carolina, Louisville. Texas looks improved this year. Virginia's got a nice program. Wichita State doing a good job again this year. Gonzaga are always good. Kansas, despite getting blown out by Kentucky, they're always good. Villanova, Jay Wright. What a great coach Jay Wright is. Every year, Villanova has a solid program. What a great job by Jay Wright. A very underrated coach. Jay Wright and Villanova, another really good team. Jay Wright, fabulous coach. A little underrated, I think, as well. Miami and Larinaga, speaking of coaches, nobody does a better job than Larinaga. He's turning this Miami program around. VCU, they look like they're going to be a top 20 team. Iowa State, a very underrated place to play. A very, very hard place to play. Iowa State, great fans there. I don't think a lot of people know how hard it is to play at Iowa State. They have great fans there. San Diego State under Fisher, very good defensive team. And I watched a little bit of West Virginia with Huggy Bear Huggins as their coach. They look pretty good this year as well. So that's just kind of a quick overview on the college basketball. We got a long way to go for college basketball. A lot of good games this week, though. Make sure you watch Wisconsin Duke in that ACC Big Ten Challenge, and keep an eye on Kentucky. They look scary good. All right, so that's kind of where you guys are. You guys are kind of all caught up. Tomorrow, NFL picks and college football picks, and I'll tell you what has happened to me in college football. Let's start with the NFL first. The NFL, I kind of had a mediocre week. I'm 17 games over 500 for the NFL for the year. That's really solid. My high water mark was 19, so I'm right there. I'm close to my high water mark, so okay for the NFL. What's going on with me in college football? I was 23 games over 500 the first 11 weeks of college football. I couldn't lose. Everything I picked won. I was getting all the breaks. 23 games over 500. The last 3 weeks of college football, I've gone 3-11 against the spread. I am now down to 15 games under 500 for the year against the spread. I have fallen completely to pieces, and I'm getting no luck at all. I'm losing a lot of these games where I'm taking big favorites that are losing on backdoor covers, like Ohio State again, who had the game won against Michigan. Michigan scores that backdoor cover the last minute of the game. How about Fresno State? I took Fresno State last week at home against Hawaii. They're up 28-0 in the second quarter. They're up 28-0 in the fourth quarter. The spread is like, what, 11 points? I think I'm definitely going to cover that game. Hawaii scores 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, including one late in the game on that backdoor cover. I lose that game on a backdoor cover. So I've been losing a lot of games on backdoor covers. I'm taking a lot of big spreads, and it's burning me with those backdoor covers. I'm getting no luck whatsoever. I guess this would be the equivalent of a poker player getting cold cards. 3-11 my last 14 games. I went from 23 games over to 15 games over. Just a terrible stretch of games for me. Got to do my homework today. I will try and do better for you guys. I hate letting you guys down. I mean, just a terrible stretch for me. I was so hot for so long, I had to go into the tank. Eventually, I have. I mean, 3-11 is just awful picking the last 3 weeks. We'll see if I can do better tomorrow. I'm going to do my homework today. We'll see if I can do it. All right, you guys, thanks for the support as always. Thanks for all the great comments on my page. You guys ever want to ask me something, definitely, send me a message. Would love to hear from you. I love all the, I love all the comments. I love all the support from you guys. Thanks again for the support. You guys stay happy, healthy, and safe. Enjoy the Miami Jet game tonight, along with your NBA, your NHL, your college basketball. Tomorrow, NFL picks and college football picks. I'm determined to do better this week with my picks, especially in college football. We'll see if I can get back to my winning ways like I was the first 11 weeks of the season. You guys, enjoy the game tonight. Talk to you tomorrow, Tuesday. NFL and college picks coming up. Take care.